And we're going to start making our own paprika. What you see us doing here is we're cutting off the tops and we're de-seeding and deveining the interiors to just leave the outer skin and flesh. That way it still retains a little bit of spiciness, but not too much as being a true hot pepper. These are sweet Hungarian peppers, so there's not too much heat to them, but you still want a little bit there just to get some flavor. And always, when you're working with peppers, whether sweet or mild, it's probably best to always wear gloves because you never know. We're trimming these down into smaller, flatter pieces so they can fit into our dehydrator. Those will also quicken the dehydration process if they're in smaller pieces. Just out of 4 buckets, we had a good amount. So it's going to take us some time to get through this. Be patient, use a nice sharp knife, and make sure you don't slice your fingers or anything as you're doing this. As Mrs. Veggie Garden keeps slicing these down into thin strips, I'll be placing them into our dehydrator trays. You don't have to spend a lot of money doing this. We got our Presto dehydrator off of Amazon for about $34, and you can sometimes find them in your big box retailers like Walmart, Sam's Club, or Target. Now I'm laying them out to start with, giving plenty of space in between, but as you see later, I'm going to have to crowd them up a bit because we just have so many, and I wanted to try to do this in one shot. So I place them on the tray, stack up the next tray, and just keep putting slices of peppers. It doesn't matter if they go face up or face down, they'll all dehydrate the same. But just make sure you give a little space in between and try not to have them stacked one on top of another. That will slow down the process and potentially make a undried pepper for you. Well, we have everything sliced and put onto the trays, and as you can see, this is a very messy process. There are seeds everywhere. This would be a good time if you wanted to save the seeds. Now we stacked up our tray, put it on a rack, and turned it on. We'll see you in about 6 to 7 hours. After that, you'll see them all shriveled up and hard. Now we're going to take them and place them into our little food processor ninja chopper thingy-wingy here. If you have a coffee grinder or a spice grinder, you can also use that. This one will give us a little bit more chunkier of a powder, which is also good. Or you can run it through a fine food sieve or mesh and get out the fines and have some chunky pieces and some very small powdery pieces. So we're just going to stack them into our little container here, get the lid put on, get the motor attached, and start grinding this up and pulsing it and making it into a nice fine powder with a little bit of chunks. As you see, Mrs. Veggie Garden's having a little hard time getting the motor on. You know, only can put it on a certain way, so we'll figure it out. We don't use this that often. And now that we got it going, now we're starting to spin up and make our fresh paprika. This has been months in the making, had to fight weather, a little drought, had to keep some animals away, but it all worked out in the end. This is our end result, 2 jars and about 4.5 ounces in total.